All right, so we are nearing the end of this built-in shelf project. Hey, this is Jared again, and I'm going to show you a couple things about the last few steps. So as you can see there, and it's nice to have a little shower stool there. That helps so you don't have to get down on your knees all the time. So anyway, excuse me, still with the cough. Anyways, okay, so you can see the two on the outside are completed, and there's the one on the inside I've yet to do. So I'll show you, not completed, but this step is completed. The frame, trim frame around it, and I will show you on the other side here too. I've already done these. There they are. So all that's left to do there is caulk and paint. And I guess we can maybe do another video for that. So anyways, I'll just show you real quick what I'm doing here to measure these trim pieces. So I measured basically from the corner right up here on this the MDF in the corner, which, you know, I guess I'll show you over here. So measure from this point to this point, and I did the same. I measured it at the bottom as well. On this particular one, it's the same. On these other two, it was slightly different, like an 1/8 of an inch difference. So they're not perfectly square, but you know, can't tell by looking at them. But you know, I did want to, you know, measure it to make sure. So I can't remember. I think the bottom's a little narrower, an 1/8 of an inch or so. Anyways, back to what we're doing. So I measured this. It's 18 and 1/16, I believe. Yeah, right about 18 and 1/16. Hold it the best I can, but anyway, so and it's the same at the bottom. So now let's go outside and I'll show you what I'm doing to cut it. This is a PVC trim piece. I think it was like $5.47 each for an 8-foot piece, and I bought one for each hole, so 5 of them. And that's just going to be fine. I'll have some left over, but I wouldn't have been able to do it with less. Okay, so see that yellow miter box there? That's, I know I've been giving the price on various things. I already had that. The only thing I had to buy was the tool, like in the very first video. I had everything else, and then I had to buy, you know, the wood and the trim. So anyways, that's about 15 bucks, I think, at Home Depot. I think you can even get a similar one for like 12 or 13 at Harbor Freight. And it comes with this saw. So I already marked this piece. Now this is a piece left over because I was cutting the other trim, so I have enough to do one more piece with this. Just to show you real quick. That's what the 8-footer looks like there. So I will need to use that for the 3 other sides. Okay, so if you're not familiar with one of these, it's pretty cool. You see all those holes down there, and this little deal acts as your clamp. You put it in a hole like this, and then I might have to put it in that one, we'll see. Yeah, it holds it. So you just turn it, as you can see, because if you put it in here and then turn it, then this part will press against that and hold it secure. So that's pretty handy, and you've got 2 of them. So let me set this camera down. I'm not sure how good of a view you can get, but it's basically I'll be cutting. Okay, so that's not bad. All right, so let me cut this real quick. If you want to skip ahead in the video, it's not super exciting. Okay, I will show you. I marked it already. Let me see where I can. Okay, so there's the mark for 18 and I believe it was 1/16. And so because this end's already cut that way, this other one's going to cut this way. So, you know, I have my proper frame. So you could do it either way over here. Basically, you just put the saw in and you cut that way. So I need to line that little mark up with the 40, and it even says on here it's 45 degrees, which is what you want. And I'm going to put the saw in here and just check it before I clamp it down, because it's a little bit hard to tell. Okay, it looks pretty good. Nudge it a hair to the right. I know you can't see that, but okay, that's good. And now I'll put this little clamp deal in here. I don't know what the proper word for this is, cleat or whatever. Tighten them up so that's secure, and I'll just start cutting. mention a couple things if you're a novice. You want to be aware. So when you start, you'll have an end like that. Obviously, that's not at a 45-degree angle. So you just have to put it in that miter box, and just trying to find the scrap, and cut your little excuse me. Cut your little piece off. So then you got to start with that, and then from there, when you take your measurements of the box or the cubby hole inside, you measure from this point down to whatever you need, 18 and an eighth or whatever, and then you mark it there, and then you cut it. Make sure you cut it in the, so your 45s are in the opposite direction, so they will fit. Okay, so now let's go inside, and I'll just show you real quick how to nail it. And I did use my brad nailer. I've got the air compressor out here. Let me just crank it. I don't know what to call it, but let the air get going. So that'll get noisy here in a few seconds. We'll go inside. So the brad nailer that I used before works perfectly for this step. A lot easier than actually when I was doing the other step. It was kind of harder. So what I'll show you, should hear that kick on any second. I think I got it set up right. I'm just going to set this up here, and I'll have to set the camera down. But I'm just going to nail it here and make sure it gets into the MDF. And then the same over there on that side. And what I did for the ones I did is there it comes. Okay, so I just nailed, for the first step, this here and this here, just to hold it up there. And then I went and cut the other ones, and then after I got everything up, I gave it a lot more nails just to reinforce it. That's into the MDF, that's just into the drywall. I just want to make sure it's nice and secure. You can see the little barcode that's actually stamped on there, but we'll paint right over that, no big deal. I kind of prefer that because there's stickers on some of them, barcode stickers, and it's hard to peel them off. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just nail it here and here for now, get it up there. So let me set this down and see. Okay, it's pretty good. I'll probably be in the way a little bit, but I'll try. At least you can see this one on the right pretty well, hopefully. But it's pretty simple. If you don't know how to use these tools, you just read the directions that come with them, or look on YouTube for another video. Okay, so I'm gonna hold this up here, and I did use some shims, I should mention, on some of these. I'll show that to you in a second. This one seems pretty good though. I don't think I'll need to use a shim on this. I'm just trying to make sure and line it up. I've got it a little bit to the right. It's hard to just go a little bit. I think that's good. And I'll go back a little bit to the left. Okay. All right, I'm gonna settle with that. And I'm using my finger here to just make sure it's pretty flush with the MDF that's behind it. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. Okay, and then the big worry here is, okay, that's fine, I'll get it over here. I'll explain that in a second. Let me get this one nailed up, and then I'll tell you my big worry. Okay, and I didn't have it happen on any of these, so that's good, but the big, or little bit of a concern is that the nail would go through there, let me find it, okay, through there, and then hit this stuff, or not be at the right angle, and then come through and show up on the inside. I did have that issue before when I was nailing these boxes together, but this stuff is a lot harder to go through with those brads than this PVC stuff. This is real soft, so it goes through this, and then luckily I think it can go into this grain or whatever, I don't know what to call it, but this end, it'll go in there pretty well. So I didn't have any issues. Okay, now that flaw that you see was already there. That's from probably what had happened before, but that's okay. Again, caulk and paint will cover all that. Okay, so that's good. Now, I'm not going to film it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the other piece that goes across the bottom. And actually, I should have cut that already. One of the tips I did before with the others, I just used this to measure my next piece. Forgot to do that because I was filming, but it's no big deal. I'll just measure it again. I think it's 18 and 1/16. I'll just mark it off and measure that bottom. Once I get the top and bottom done, then I measure from here to the bottom one, and then I cut the sides, and then just basically repeat what I just did. I will show you, let's see, I think on the other side I used some shims, so I'll just show you real quickly what and why I did that, and then I'll wrap up this video. Okay, so you can see one right here, a little bitty piece there, because there's a gap. You can see that gap. You know, I'm not perfect, so yeah, and there's another one over here. When I made this box and put it in, it's basically 1 millimeter back from the drywall, and it's pretty flush over here. So I just put that shim in there because I don't, you know, you can see there's some give right there. I'm not too worried about that. I might put another little bit, I mean, like toothpicks or something, I don't know. But caulk also will just kind of fill that in. But that's it, you know, the shims come in handy to just give it a little bit of reinforcement. Oh, another note, I made this, I don't know if you can see in the video, but this piece is on the bottom sides. I made it like 1 millimeter or less than 1 millimeter lower than this. The only reason I did that is my kids are going to be using this. It's basically going to be toy storage for now, toys and games, and they'll be pulling stuff out, and I just don't want them to get caught on that lip. I mean, that's probably good practice no matter what you're doing. If you have books or anything, you don't want it to catch that lip. I didn't necessarily, on the sides and the tops, it's fairly flush. Yeah, it's pretty flush everywhere else. It doesn't necessarily overhang or go under or anything. It's pretty flush. This side, actually, the trim is in a little bit, but so minimal, nothing would catch it. Okay, so that's it for that video. Again, like and subscribe the channel. And if you've seen any of my other videos, check out my wife's website. It's great products. Here's one right here, Warman, and that's not the way the wax comes. We're using a wax tester there. She put it in this morning, let it melt out. That's not the way you'd buy it as a consumer, but we have tons of them. Tester or sample. Anyways, check out the website. You can get yourself some great Scentsy products, or just visit my website for 1 minute. I'd appreciate it. All that does is helps Google, helps us with a better rank with Google. If you spend a minute or so on the site, you don't even have to do anything. That's it, just a courtesy. Okay, thanks for watching. We'll probably just do one more video about caulking and painting. Maybe a second video. Actually, maybe, I don't know, who knows. I don't know if anybody's watching. This has been a little lengthy mini series here, but maybe 2 more videos so the final one can show you the finished product. I'm pretty happy with the way it's coming out so far. I think it's going to be great. And we're going to utilize, basically, we got some extra storage space where we had nothing before except just a wall. That's, you know, who doesn't need more storage? We've got to keep our stuff. All right, thanks for watching. All right, bye-bye.